Welcome to this week of Fly Rod Chronicles. We have a very special episode with our good friends from Project Healing Waters.
There he is, brother! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yeah! Woo! What are you thinking now, baby?
We get to go down and we get to tour Fort Bragg, hang out with some of the 82nd Airborne, and then we get to go over to Fayetteville to take in some marabou madness. Now this is where it gets really exciting because we get to fish with the vets.
You got a double!
It was my first time catching a shad. We even go over to Wilmington and get to take a tour of a naval ship. So I promise you, you'll want to stick around for this.
Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man, and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
Project Healing Waters is just an incredible vehicle for veterans. What I love about what they do is they don't discriminate against modern war versus wars in the past. And it's neat to see that you've got some young kids that's just been through, getting out of Afghanistan, and that they can relate to the folks that fought over in Korea or, World War II, Vietnam. So when I got into the fly fishing industry and started the show, Project Healing Waters conception was right about the same time. I got to be honest with you, I was very intimidated because I personally didn't serve in the war and didn't serve in the military. But after you get out there and start hanging out with some of these guys, they make you feel part of the family. And I know that I will never be in that fraternity, but I'm in a position to help. And to take a vet out on the water and let them release some of the bad, it's just an incredible satisfaction for me.
So you think what? Throw a 6 right now, 5?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be usually down in a water column. When they start feeding, it's almost a doesn't matter type thing, but they're typically going to be down in the water, and they'll be probably just inside that foam line or just under that foam line.
I've never caught a shad before.
No?
Never caught a shad on a fly.
That's one of the hardest pressures you can put on me as a guy. Tell me you haven't caught one before. I mean, I won't outwardly show my attention and stress and will to catch, but when somebody says, I've never caught one before, and we have a chance, that if we don't get one, I feel like I failed miserably at the end of the day. Try to put him in a net.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a good sized fish, isn't it?
It is a nice shad, huh? All right, man. That's my first shad on the fly, brother. So it's pretty cool to look over there in that boat, and it was two vets that we met this morning, and they both got pretty cool stories, As you can tell in the background, they got great casts. They've been attending the classes at Project Healing Waters, and they got the bug. And really, this is about them. Shad fishing's new to me. John put me on my first one with a fly rod, which is pretty cool. But just looking over there and seeing those guys not worrying about things that they've been through and day-to-day business, they're out here just kind of letting everything go.
This segment is brought to you by Fly Rod Chronicles Signature Rod.
You know, shad fishing was new for me, and for me to catch my first shad was really cool. But to see some of these veterans that's dealing with issues like PTSD and post-combat injuries, to see the smile on their faces and the happiness and the intensity of them catching fish was unbelievable, because they got their mind off of injuries, war, and got to catch some fish. So that was really, really cool.
There you go, pull. Straight up.
Atta girl, fish on!
I'll let him go if he goes, and then there you go. Just
Oh, it's a big one. You got two. Gee, she's got two. Be real easy. Don't.
keep them coming a little bit.
Hand off the reel.
Walk backwards just a little bit.
You got a double.
There we go. That's how you do that. That's how you do that.
That's a big one.
Shad fishing's a no-brainer.
That's a beast.
Look at that shad.
You rock.
And after a couple days on the water, we got to go hang out with some of the guys in the 82nd Airborne. And there is an incredible 82nd Airborne museum that we got to go in and check out and to see it from, you know, the World War I and all through the wars and how these guys that jump out of planes and helicopters and how it's just progressed is amazing. And if you're in the area, you'll want to tour this museum. And plus, it's continuing to grow. So I was like a little kid in the museum.
You know, you look here, Battle of the Bulge. I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with Lefty Cray, one of the most famous fly fishermen, and Lefty was in Battle of the Bulge, and right now, Lefty just turned 93 years old, and he made reference to, and I'm guessing it's right here, he said it's the coldest he's ever been, and he claims that he's fell in every cold river in the world fly fishing, but he said this was the coldest that he's ever been. It's pretty cool. Check this out right here. So I leave college in 1990. February 24th is when we put ground operation when Desert Storm was launched. And the reason I remember that February 24th is my wife was an Army reservist, and that's exactly when she got the call, and they told her she would be going over to Iraq. So everything went on hold. Our wedding went on hold, and this week, you know, we get a chance to hang out with Project Healing Waters down here at Fort Bragg, and you know, we're getting to see a lot of things like this big Navy ship, and to be able to hang out with the vets and Project Healing Waters, who we've been partnered and associated with for ever since we started the show. We kind of came in this together. It's just really, really cool. Again, it gives you that appreciation of of what these men and women do for us.
Westerville Ecological Services, time for conservation.
My name's Tom Carpenter with the North Carolina region of Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing. I'm here with Kyle Rachels, the District 4 biologist for the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. And so Kyle, we've been out fishing for American shad this week on the Cape Fear River. Can you tell us a little bit about your management efforts for that fish species here in North Carolina?
Certainly, most of our spring we're out monitoring American shad on the Cape Fear River, and they're a species that has seen significant declines over the last 100 years or so, but they're actually pretty stable here in the Cape Fear River, and most of our management efforts are towards improving passage on the Cape Fear. There's 3 locking dams that were installed between 1915 and 1935 for navigation purposes, and we have put in fish passage at the first locking dam, most downstream dam, and American shad are utilizing that, and they're able to get upstream better than they have in the past, and we're still working on improving passage at the other 2 locks and dams.
We're down here in North Carolina with Project Healing Waters, and here with Colonel DeGrassi.
That's right, yes, sir.
All right. We got us another famous guy here. We got Charlie Craven. Charlie, pleasure meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for having me.
Yes, sir. So down here, and you get to teach these guys how to fly flies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me what it's like.
You know, I've done this all over the country, and anytime I get a chance to share this thing that I've been doing my whole life with anyone else is always an opportunity. But down here, these guys are so appreciative. They're so into it. It's such a rapt audience. It makes you feel good about doing it. I mean, that's a dream come true for a guy like me. So yeah, it's everything I could hope for.
Yeah. And Todd, talk a little bit about what fly tying means to Project Healing Waters.
So we have 4 core activities that we provide through our programs. Fly tying, fly rod building. We do education, so we teach people everything they need to know, our participants everything they need to know about fly fishing, and then we do outings. So it's great to have someone that shares our passion for the sport down here. People know who Charlie is in our program, and to have someone come down and tie flies with us that we tie all the time.
You're talking about disabled veterans coming back at all levels, and that's
Right.
what I love about Project Healing Waters. You guys do not discriminate against what war. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran. You can join.
That's correct. If you're a disabled veteran from any period in our history,
Yeah.
you're welcome to join our program, and we have volunteers that are wonderful, 3,500 volunteers across the country, and now over 216 programs nationwide, 8,400 participants, and we're looking for more people to come out and help us, more people to come out and really join our cause, which is to help the physical and emotional recovery of our participants.
Yep. You know, meeting Colonel Kincaid, who wants to be called Bert, was very intimidating. You know, he had more titles behind his name than our library here in town. But you know, getting to know Bert, you wouldn't know that he was decorated as much as he was. He acted like that perfect volunteer, that guy that just wanted to help out. Matter of fact, there was one point in the trip where he came in, did a bunch of work, and they were getting ready to recognize him, and I saw him sneaking / limping out of the area just because he's that kind of guy.
The whole idea of being a good American is looking at people that you work with and trying to help them achieve a better state in life or a better state in, and being a person, and it needs to be everywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, so when you do the math, how many years have you served?
Well, I've been working for the Army for about 50 years.
50 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And I got to see, you got Participant of the Year? Is it?
I got that was a mistake. Somebody put my name in there, but
Here we go.
no, I think it was Volunteer of the Year.
I mean, and I heard the hours that they tabulated, which was absolutely, it's crazy. And I know something else that you do behind the scene too. You donate a lot of your money. You do.
Well, I used to donate money to the sheriff and this party and those parties, but I started thinking, well, I really ought to be donating to money to the people that I believe in and that aren't getting paid anyway.
Right.
And that's the people that are the vets or are civil servants or other people that have been out in the community that need help. So I took charity begins at home, and if you're a vet, then that's a good place to keep it.
Can't get enough of Fly Rod Chronicles? Check us out online. This segment is brought to you by Fly Rod Chronicles Signature Rods.
Project Healing Waters was not built just on fishing. They do rod building classes, and they do a lot of fly tying classes. Fly tying classes are really good for veterans that are dealing with PTSD. It just helps them keep focused and get their mind off of some of the things that are bothering them. And one of those things might be pain. When you're tying a fly, the integral part of knowing that, that feather, that wrap, that little minute hook, the concentration that it takes is pretty incredible, and it's intense. And then what you get to run into is other vets helping other vets. And really, that's what it's all about. And when they have their finished product and that fly is done, to see them take it out of the vise and look at it is one thing, but when they catch a fish on that fly, it's amazing.
It's time for IGFA, Release of the Week.
Look at him running.
Him running from there to there, he's gonna be in the Summer Olympics, isn't he? You see him run? I seen you running. You got about a 7-minute 40-yard dash, huh? I'd love to. I'd be honored to net it for him. That's a big brown trout. Look at that thing. Oh yeah. Yep. Just lift your rod straight up now. Real slow. Bring him. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, nice. Right over there.
Keep that tip up.
Lift it up. Ooh. Now lift it straight up. Bring him right here. Here he is, brother. Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Look at this. Give me five. Look at this guy. What are you thinking now, baby? What do you think of me now, huh? Man, look at this. Let's get you a picture here. You hold that net right here. We'll get you a picture.
We've been very fortunate at Fly Rod Chronicles to be able to hang out with the guys from Project Healing Waters. We've got to do episodes all over the United States. But this episode was special because we got to take in the marabou madness. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. Going down and touring Fort Bragg was mind-boggling. To see what our active military is doing today to serve and protect. And then to fish with some of our wounded veterans, that was just icing on the cake. Shad fishing was new for me. I caught my first shad. I got to hang out with some vets that got to fish for the very first time. We got to go over to Wilmington and see an actual naval ship. Also, we got to hang out with the guys in the 82nd Airborne and go see the new museum. That's absolutely amazing. But when it comes down to it, being with these veterans, being with these guys from Project Healing Waters, doing the marabou madness, there's nothing more fulfilling than seeing and being part of a veteran catching a fish. just knowing what they did for us and giving us the right to be able to be in God's country. It's amazing. Thanks for hanging out with Fly Rod Chronicles, and come back next week.
I'm just a fishing bum. If I don't have the gas, then I stick out my thumb. I've gotta get there one way or another.